Welcome to King Says So, a channel that advocates for one Africa, one land, one Africa, one language, one Africa, one currency, one Africa, one army. I wish to witness Africans all around the world united as one in our lifetime. Enjoy. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy King 053, Mr. Easy Imale Nengi Nengi, and we're back at it again with another one. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. For everyone who has clicked the subscribe button, the channel is growing beyond my expectations. So I'd like to thank everyone who's active on the channel, whether it be my sponsors, be it everyone on the comment section, clicking the like button. Any contribution that you guys are doing towards the channel is very much appreciated. So I want to speak about the Mavuso Walter Msimang resignation on the ANC from the ANC, and what type of impact it will have on the 2024 election, and what type of narrative it leaves out there. Let's quickly listen to the his interview, and then I'll come back for some commentary.
You've been very vocal over time about what has been going wrong, and some have even said, I'm sure you've seen this criticism of yourself as well, that they say you were very vocal during the tenure of former President Jacob Zuma. You spoke out about a lot of what was going wrong and what was happening at the time. But when he left office and President Cyril Ramaphosa came in, some say you became somewhat careful, cautious. Others go as far as saying timid. How do you respond?
Timid and cautious and all of those things are descriptions of behavior. They are absolutely right, by the way, to say once Jacob Zuma left, and really many people wanted him to leave because it didn't seem to, because the state capture thing, the Guptas and so on, you can tell me, we can talk about whether other things are just as bad. It was just so bad for people to know that their friendship to the highest authority in the land gives them license to willy-nilly decide who should do what in departments of interest to them, and that's really what was happening. The stories that were being told about cabinet ministers going to this Gupta house, this was really, really bad, and it was brazen. You had people like Themba Maseko losing jobs because they stood up, and not being defended and so on. So when Zuma left, the hope was that Tumamina, he came in with a fantastic slogan, was going to lift the thing, lift the morale, do away with state capture in a meaningful way. Generally, it's not easy to do badly when you take over from a situation that was as disastrous as in Zuma's time. But yes, he set up, somebody was correcting me that it's Zuma actually who set up the Zondo Commission and other commissions. The truth is, when Cyril came, he really gave it, he made it possible for them to function, approving budgets and so on and so forth. All of this to try and understand what state capture entailed and make sure that the people who were involved in this thing are dealt with through justice and so on. So I've heard people say that because of the knowing of the NPA, for instance, was really decimated, and it had people, we remember the names. So whoever took over and wanted the NPA to carry out certain functions needed to get in new personnel and so on. All of that I agree, and it takes time. But there are two things here. One is, why do you, among other things, why do you keep people who have already been identified? You can't take them to court, but you don't need to keep them in your cabinet. Maybe they could be in the NEC because they're voted by the people. You're asking me now about the person who succeeded Zuma. I think he has missed the opportunity of getting competent people. And you never know your strength because no one is born. You don't go to a school to learn how to be a minister and so on. But there are people in the ANC. I've seen some of them in Parliament. The guy was dealing with the public protector and so on, chairing it. I don't know him personally. I just thought those are the kinds of people you really need. But
So hearing him speak, number one, I'm very disappointed in how a former MK member, a person born in 1941, he's an old man, and for his response for me is like even in his resignation, he's still treading carefully on what to say. Most of the people, and he served also with former President Jacob Zuma in the MK. He studied at Zambia, and that's what another thing that we South Africans need to learn, that most of our struggle heroes studied outside South Africa. He's one of those that studied in Zambia. That's why Zambia would always be home for me and you. In the southern part here in Africa, unity is everything, because Africans were helping each other in the times of need. When South Africa was going through the most. So for me, most people who are not politically wise and who don't have a telescope eye into looking politics in an overview thought that Jacob Zuma was the problem in South Africa. They thought if you can just take out Jacob Zuma, whoever you put in will be 10 times better than Jacob Zuma. Well, they did not see that actually Jacob Zuma was the one who was fighting for us Africans, who was fighting to dismantle the white monopoly in South Africa. But people just did not see that. And I'm disappointed that a veteran like him did not see that. The way you're resigning, what is the need of you speaking about Jacob Zuma? You've been so vocal during Jacob Zuma's time, criticizing the man. Now you come here with Cyril Ramaphosa. You are not vocal at all. The only thing you give us is a resignation letter. You are 82 years, 83 years old. What are you resigning from? What is the reason for resigning? So for me, when you read his letter, you see that the main thing he's complaining about is corruption. Why was there nothing done with corruption, and why did President Cyril Ramaphosa keep the people who were flagged in the Zondo Commission? The Zondo Commission was not there to flag corruption. It was there to get rid of a faction of the ANC. It was the in-house fighting of the ANC that was displayed in public on the Zondo Commission. We all saw that. We saw how they treated people that were so-called on the Zuma faction, the RET faction, Radical Economical Transformation. So we saw how they were treated in the Zondo Commission, and we saw how Zondo's body language and how he spoke changed when Cyril Ramaphosa came into the commission. Calling him boss, calling him, being all friendly with him. But with Jacob Zuma, the man who called the commission into existence, he tried to destroy Jacob Zuma to the point where Zuma said, no, listen, I'm not going to sit around for this. And the question is, why is it that you resigned? And we don't hear a clear answer from a veteran. I'm so disappointed. Listen to this.
It did not happen. If I was in charge, I would take the blame for these things happening, because I would want to find out from my charges, why are we about to get a water crisis? What new thing has arisen that would have prevented a proper process that would ensure there's good maintenance of systems, etc., etc.
Do you resign from the ANC because you feel that your voice has been loud over time about what has been going wrong, it's not being listened to? Or do you think there was simply no other alternative for you? Is it because of what you've been talking about? And I know as the Veterans League, you've been very vocal, but is it because you simply just don't see any other thing, any other way out within the ANC right now to try and correct itself?
This is a very difficult question, which I must answer. If I thought there was still a chance to change things, I would look at what do we need to do to achieve those changes. I've looked at some of those, we've mentioned some of them. Regain the confidence of the people, make sure that unquestionably you've got competent people, performing people, and so on. And this, what was saying, this thing that they're not, that they're withholding from the public, what is it called?
The performance assessment.
The performance assessment is such a good tool, and I would push it to the public and say, this is what I'm planning to do, and this is how the people who are charged with that are performing, and so on. So, yes, there is, it's depressing, it's frustrating, because you can't work on excuses for not achieving things that are achievable. Those who don't achieve really ought to be given opportunities elsewhere. We've got a serious problem with policing. How I wish young people like this would be brought into force, IT people and so on. A person who is in charge to understand what policing is about, how sophisticated these people are, and so on. I wouldn't like to read in the paper that 4,000 people who have been charged are still part of the police force. There's something seriously wrong with that. They've been charged with corruption and they continue to in employment. These are things that can't just happen and you fold your hands. So
now Ntate Mavuso Msimang is a man who's frustrated that there is no progress in South Africa, and many people are. Many people find themselves in their position, in his position, especially those who've been serving in the ANC. I mean, 60 years is no joke. 60 years this man has been in the ANC, went to exile for the ANC. Went through the ranks. He was, I think, the CEO of the national parks at one time. He's a person that has served this country diligently, it's true. But when it comes to the ANC listening to its veterans, it's non-existent. I mean, if they could not listen to Thabo Mbeki, how will they listen to this guy? The former president, the former head of state is not being listened to. And when you listen to how Fikile Mbalula reasons, oh my God, Fikile Mbalula is going to be the downfall of the ANC. I promise you. If we can't compare him to Ace Makhashula, the way Ace handled that portfolio of SG, that head of SG, Ace could bring people together. Two people who are fighting, Ace could bring them together. The problem with Fikile Mbalula is that he chooses a side and stays with that side and does not become neutral in problems. Let's listen to what Fikile Mbalula said about this resignation. I think he was with Faith at Metro FM.
Mavuso Msimang, Uput Mavuso. 2 weeks ago, I met with them. They cry about the issue, not cry. They raise issues about integrity. We have placed those issues on the agenda. They have been attended to. They raise issues about their people who have not appeared before the Integrity Commission and that they must be taken to DC. A whole lot of those people, I've sent them to the DC. They are about 90, who some of them, I doubt even they still have active membership of the ANC. We will give a report on that. So, renewal embraced all of those things. Now, it is regrettable that at this moment we can have, we don't take it for granted that here is somebody we look up to and who was an open critic and having a decent view, a view of dissent in the party, and leaving us. And then and he says he's not going to form any political party. Fine and good. It's regrettable. And the fact of the matter is that the ANC, as always, will reflect on this moment. It's not something we take lightly. When somebody leaves the party, arrogantly, we say that, no, we don't care, let them go. No. This moment will still be reflected upon, including the letter that is circulating. All what we say to them as our elders is that don't attack the party as though there's no leadership and that leadership is not listening to you. Mandela, when he went to the NEC and raised his views about HIV and AIDS and criticized the sitting president then, Mandela had about 100 calls he did not, which were not answered. 100 calls. I was in that meeting. Madiba left a happy man. And he never wrote and organized marches. HIV and AIDS became a stigma.
So do you think that former President Thabo Mbeki is being hypocritical, or was being hypocritical in the writing of the letters, in the public dissent, in the public criticism?
He is not. I have said it in public. We have said it to him. I have just told you now, ANC allows dissent. What he has done the right thing. It was leaked to the media and all of that. We met with him. He told us first the things you are addressing there, and we explained to him that we will not move on the things that is actually addressing, and we gave the reasons why we will not on those particular issues. And the fact of the matter is that we engage with stalwarts, with veterans, with everybody, and around issues that they raise, the Veterans League all the time. We have said, in fact, to the Veterans League, you can't be equal to the Youth League and the Women's League. You need to be a council of elders so that you tell us where to get off. But how do you become a council of elders when you address your children every day outside your household? And then who are you pleasing outside? And insulting your kids and everything outside. Call them. If you think that there is a problem like Mandela did, call us into a meeting, say these things if you think that we are not responding enough to us. And then that's it. But if you criticize the ANC, for instance, and tell South Africa that ANC is corrupt to the core, and then next year we're going to an election, how do you expect the people of South Africa, you are mobilizing against the ANC, to respond to that? Because you are the most reputable, uncorruptible, respected voice in society. It's not even our opponents we are afraid of. It's not. Our opponents are weak. They represent retrogression because they are telling the whole of South Africa that we'll take you back before 1994, we'll scrap everything that is about social transformation. That's what they tell our people out there on their own. Our opponents, in that sense, they represent those ideas of backwardness and all of that, anti-progress. The ANC knows very well where it has done wrong, it has committed mistakes, and it must fix those mistakes, and that's what we're doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going into the 2024 election, national elections. This is not a good sign for the ANC. Remember, there's other veterans that are watching this, and they are also in the verge of sending their resignation because their voice is not being heard when we come to their complaints about Cyril Ramaphosa. Everyone has got an issue with the Phala issue. They are not happy how the Phala issue was handled. In fact, we see now the Phala are co-accused are in court now. I need to cover that, and I'll probably do that on Sunday because it's funny how we're speaking about how this man who stole money at Phala is busy spending it, but the public protector, the Reserve Bank said no, there's nothing wrong that happened. But this guy spent millions in dollars. In dollars, he was buying cars and houses in dollars here in South Africa. This guy, I think, is from Zambia or something like that, and they cleared Cyril Ramaphosa. But these people are still going to jail. If there was no transaction, like the public protector said, Ukoleka, If there was no transaction, no proof of sale, then where does this money come from? Aye, Bafetu. So for me, it's not a good look what the ANC is going to go through next year. I said every negative publicity is going to damage any political party going forward. It's going to damage any political party going forward. You don't want negative press going forward. You just want good news. The ANC is struggling with this issue of water. The quality of water that we are drinking in South Africa has went down from 82% to somewhere at 60 to 30. You know, it's crazy. What do you call this water company? Waterworks. What they are? Rainwater. They can't handle what is happening in South Africa. They can't handle the demand because nothing is being done in coping with the growing population of South Africa. The main thing is corruption. And on top of corruption, the white monopoly capitalists, they still controlling the currency, making it almost impossible to recover from any crisis in South Africa. You understand? So for me, it's bad that the ANC gets this type of resignation. I can foresee others coming because of this, because they're not displaying maturity. Fikile Mbalula is not displaying maturity in terms of handling it. For me, I would call the Women's League, I'll call the Youth League, I'll call the Veterans League, and I'll say, listen, people, we are heading for election. Can everything be addressed behind closed doors? That is what they need to do. And can we all gather up some power and campaign for the ANC to win? Because it is not impossible for the ANC to win. You understand? It's possible for them to lose, but it's not impossible for them to win. It's not an impossibility. But as long as you have veterans, Women's League, even the ANC Youth League that is fighting against the mother body, you're going to have a situation where people are not going to vote for the ANC. And if those people don't stay away from the polls, they go to the polls and they vote for another party. My goodness. Whether being it the Moonpeg shot or being the EFF or whatever political party they're going to vote for, Rise Mzansi, Rise South Africa, you don't know what is going to happen. You know? So I don't see this as a good thing at all. This resignation, it might not be as loud as the other previous ones, but I'm telling you, it's going to damage the ANC going forward. It's going to damage them going forward to the 2024 elections. You guys tell me what you think on the comment section. I did not upload anything today on the 8th of December. I'm tired, guys. Mkatele. Preparing for a fight is not easy. You have to lose a lot of weight. Preparing for a fight, the amount of punishment we put our bodies through for entertainment of people, it's crazy. It's crazy. So from now until I fight, which is the 15th of December, excuse me if you get only one video, or you know, or sometimes don't get an upload. Just be patient with me. Wish me luck so I can kick ass, make some money, have a nice holiday, and come back strong for 2024 elections. I'm so excited about that. If you're new on the channel, this is an African Pan-Africanist channel where we are advocating strongly for one Africa, one language, one Africa, one army, one Africa, one currency, and one Africa, one land. There's so many one Africa, one something that we need in terms of uniting the Africa so that we can be the Africa can be in the position of power where it's supposed to be. You understand? So if you like those type of things, please click the subscribe button. We're trying to reach 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year, which is possible. I think we are 1,200 away. We still have more than 15 days, so it's very much possible. You guys keep on clicking that like button. Keep on leaving your thoughts on the comment section. I appreciate it so much. Until we meet next time, don't forget to pray. And after you pray, stand up and do your best so that God can do the rest. I salute you. Peace in Pan-Africanism.
Black Heart. The Hustle Continua. 100% good quality t-shirts. Made to inspire your goals and dreams. T-shirts are now available at an affordable price. Place your order now. 068-473-6908. Instagram at Black7576. Facebook page Black Heart.